and held the ball for over 20 minutes during his final 3 quarters. And I think Alshon Jeffrey handled that with class. He got a lot of praise for the way he, handled what happened. The Daily News, on the other hand, not so much. Let's bring in Peter Schrager, who was on the sidelines. Butterfingers. You see this, Schrags? Come on.
Not cool. Not cool, Kay. It's a heartbreaking scene. Actually, as it happened, Nick Foles was the first person to greet Alshon Jeffrey. And just to tell you what this Eagles team is all about, Doug Peterson was right there on the sideline and grasped him right away. A lot of coaches might go the other way, but I can tell you that locker room has Alshon Jeffrey's back. One Eagles executive told me that's a catch he makes 99 out of 100 times. It was the perfect pass. It was the perfect play. It just slipped through his fingers. But this game was decided in the final 3 quarters, like you said, Kay. But the man to me was not Drew Brees. It was not Mike Thomas. It was Mr. Sean Payton. Sean Payton, they're down 14-0 on their own 30-yard line on 4th and 1. And what does Sean Payton dial up? Taysom Hill with a fake punt. It's the most aggressive play that I can remember the Saints calling since the onside kick in the Super Bowl against the Colts. This one got the entire stadium back. It brought the team back, and they were on the brink of being down 21-0 at home. 3 scores. Instead, they convert this, they move the ball, and then on the same drive on 4th and goal, Kyle showed the highlight. It's a pass to Keith Kirkwood for the touchdown score. Sean Payton was not going to go down fighting. And I can tell you guys, when it was 14-0 in that dome, where it is so hard to win, you could have heard a pin drop. Sean Payton with the fake punt call. It is everything Sean Payton is all about. Aggressiveness, never giving up, never dying, and leaving it out there. That game was won right there on that fake punt, which gave the Saints life, and they rolled from there and never looked back. Sean Payton is my MVP of the evening, and I thought that fake punt was the biggest play of the night.
And now we'll have a battle of the Seans there at the Dome. I'm surprised you didn't even have a voice this morning. It was so loud. Excellent work on the sidelines. And I see you working, staying down there in New Orleans, so you don't have to help disassemble the shrine. You don't have to do any heavy lifting. You're the friend that doesn't show up on moving day.
Yeah. Not for me. That's for you guys. I don't even know what you're talking about, Ken.
But Peter's got a truck.
Thanks so much, Riggs. Back here at the table. Takeaways from this game?
First, let me say I'm done betting against the Saints. Who Dat Nation? What's up? They absolutely did their thing. The crowd was ruckus. The players were great on both sides of the ball. And like Peter said, Sean Payton was unbelievable. But can't guard Mike. Just like his Twitter handle. You can't guard Mike. It was every situation, every scenario. He stepped up big. Michael Thomas was unbelievable. And we're talking chain-moving first downs, long second downs, big-time third downs, and in the red zone, he was unbelievable. I was watching the game, and I was saying to myself, what kind of coverage can you give him? Because they were trying zone, he lit that up. They went man-to-man, he scores a touchdown like we're seeing right here. Every situation that you presented to Drew Brees and Mike Thomas, they conquered. My man had 12 catches, 171, single-game playoff team record. The unbelievable part is that they moved him around constantly. He was on different guys, and he kept that defense backing up on their heels. This was a one-man show. And if my man Mike Thomas can continue to play like this, he can carry his team right into the Super Bowl, and Drew Brees will win another one.
And what I love about this is I feel like even though he's had such a great season, Kyle, he still isn't known to the world. And I love that given if the NFC Championship game and potentially the Super Bowl, he's going to be given that platform so the world can see what this kid can do.
He led the league in catches. I think people recognize now.
I still don't think people put him up with them. He should be.
I felt like he had 400 yards yesterday. He was the best player by far.
This will be a whole other level for him.
That was incredible. First of all, for everybody tweeting, and there's a lot, I'm not wearing the barrel right now, but I will be wearing the barrel for Chiefs fans. Just stay tuned. I promise. It's here.
Barrel Twitter?
Barrel Twitter is big right now. It's coming. I promise. I'm not going to cop out. As it pertains to this game, the Saints deserved to win. They were the better team. They played the better 3 quarters. They were at home and everything. I feel like football fans across the country deserved a better ending than what we got.
Okay.
The whole Foles magic versus the Saints, I feel like we were deprived of that because the Foles magic wasn't killed. Nick Foles did not make a mistake. Nick Foles did not blow it. If at the end of that game, if the Saints stopped them or sacked them or forced a turnover on downs, they did it. Or if Foles scores, we didn't get a clean death. Yeah. He threw a perfect pass and went off the hands of Alshon, and you saw this thing coming. I don't know if you could tell on the highlight, though, but leading up to this play, it was set up by the incredible Michael Bennett defensive play to move the field goal back. Still, if Will Lutz makes that field goal, it's a wrap. One of the best kickers in the league kicking in the dome misses it. They get a penalty. It's all setting up for the quote-unquote Foles magic, and he delivered it. For some reason in that moment, Alshon drops the ball that he catches 99 out of 100 times. Kay, it felt like the death of Nick Foles was like the death of Jon Snow. It was weird, it wasn't right, and that might be, it probably will be, the last pass that Nick Foles ever throws as an Eagle is one that was perfect in the biggest situation, and it was an ugly, sloppy, and I wanted a clean death one way or another.
But you got, I mean, you wanted a clean death.
Yes.
He was dead for 3 quarters. You had a
In the biggest drive of the game, though, he had it.
Okay, well, you're saying
at
one
the end.
thing. You're talking about magic. The
Yes.
Eagles' drives after that first quarter, let me read them to you.
Go ahead.
Interception, punt, 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 interception. It was an interception sandwich. So he looked more comfortable than I've ever seen Nick Foles. He looked great in the first quarter. They scored less than 100 yards for the remaining 3. So this was a long illness for him, and it was called being in the dome and being uncomfortable and having that defense played like it did. This is the best defense left in the playoffs, the Saints, which is something that you would never think that you'd say to a team that let the Bucs crush them week 1 of this season. Look at where they've come as a defense. If you take that week 17 game against the Panthers out, and of course they rested their starters, this team's allowing less than 15 points a game over the last 8. Their defense is tough. They get to play at home. I don't want to hear about injuries to Alshon, to Fletcher, to whatever. Punt, 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 2 interceptions.
Let's make it personal.
5 punts, 2 interceptions.
Let's make it personal. Okay, you're an enthusiast for the Saints. You love the Saints.
100%.
And I get it. Up 6 points
I'm about to hoot
with
that all
Foles
over that
coming
shrine
down the
over
field. Can we all say at the table you weren't nervous at all that Foles was going to go down the field and score?
The Lutz thing made me nervous the whole time. It was
Crazy.
definitely a stressful game.
I couldn't believe he missed that kick.
Yeah.
At second he missed the kick, I said, here it comes. It's going to happen.
I will say, at
Right?
one point in the game, I did have the Angels in the outfield.
Yes.
I had this gift.
It's
ready to
real.
go. Like, there's only one explanation for this, but it was he looked really uncomfortable for the
He
first
did.
time I've ever seen him look that way.
What do we
here's
always
the
say, though?
thing.
It's at the end of the game, in the final minutes, he looked great, and then it was over.
And we have to keep in mind, this is the postseason. Quarterbacks are going to look uncomfortable because teams are so good.
Breeze looked
Defensive-
uncomfortable.
Breeze looked uncomfortable in moments.
That pick.
Phillip Rivers looked uncomfortable for just about 4 quarters.
You're right.
So
did Luck.
Teams won't be flawless. The same thing coming up this weekend. We're going to see great quarterback play, but we're going to see even better defense, which means there's going to be moments where our favorite quarterbacks, our favorite players are not going to look like themselves. And Nick Foles, there were moments in his game with those 2 interceptions. He didn't look like himself. But none of that matters. If the game is coming down to the last 2 minutes, that's what matters.
Yeah.
And to your point, Kay, even though I believed in the magic and I thought, here we go, this is it, another Nick Foles moment, the moment was on the Saints in that defense and them taking advantage of a very, very weird drop ball by Alshon Jeffrey. So I don't want to knock Alshon and say, I hear you, man, no, it's not your fault. You guys had moments to put that game away and you didn't. Instead, I'm going to credit that Saints defense. Like you said, they did their thing.
2 picks from Marshawn Lattimore. That's what changed it. They looked uncomfortable, right? They looked a little uneasy, and Marshawn grabs that interception, that first one, and I feel like they finally got in the rhythm.
Changed
The
it.
momentum happened. Then that one drive that they led just shows you how resilient.
That 4th down, like Shrek said, changed everything.
But it was
changed everything.
it was Alshon's fault. Of course it was.
No question. No
The Saints
question.
didn't make a
And
play.
as
He blew a play.
As a competitive player, he should look in the mirror and say, I could have changed the outcome of that game.
Yeah,
And I
man.
think if the team collectively looks in one big mirror, they'll say, all right, quarterback threw 2 picks.
They got outplayed.
That 4th down where they give up that fake, I'm yelling at the screen, it's a fake punt. It has to be a fake punt in that moment. And, credit to Sean Payton, man, gutsy call.
Are you ready for the Battle of the Shawns?
Oh, my gosh, yes.
I
Talk
cannot
about it.
wait until that happens. Just a week from today, or a week next week. So this week we can call it this.
Oh, yeah.
It's all moving so fast.
This weekend.
The Eagles' season ends in the Superdome, but could that loss also have ended Nick Foles' time in Philly? Let's take a listen to Foles discussing his future after the game, because that's all we're going to be talking about.
I think the big thing is, what the city means to me. It's always welcomed me and my family. It's really been a joy to live there and be a part of everything and, wear the green and wear the jersey. So no matter what, you can't ever take that away. We were able to do some really special things. So, we'll see what happens. But I'll tell you this, I've enjoyed every single moment. And it'll always have a special place in my heart, the city, the fans, the people, everything about it. There's nothing like playing in the link in front of the crowd. It's some of my favorite moments. My family's got to experience them. My daughters got to experience them. So we'll see what happens, but I've enjoyed everything.
Enjoy, Joe. It sounds like a little bit of a pre-farewell speech, if you ask me. Ian Rappaport joining us this morning. Great weekend of football. We are excited about it being narrowed down to 4, but we just heard Nick Foles say how much Philadelphia has meant to him. So what are the chances yesterday was his last game as an Eagle?
Well, my understanding, Kay, is the chances are very, very good that this is the final time we see Nick Foles in an Eagles uniform. And, you know, he was actually asked post-game, do you want to be back? And he said, well, it's a complicated question, but no matter what happens, it's been a joy. You're right. This sounds like a guy who is likely, almost certainly done here. And there's a couple different ways this could happen. The Eagles could exercise his option. Foles could then pay back $2 million and buy his freedom. The Eagles could also franchise tag him and attempt to trade him. Either way, this is a player who has earned the right to be a starting quarterback, something the Eagles very much know. Meanwhile, they are going forward with Carson Wentz. Despite the injuries, that is a guy they still believe in. He is their franchise quarterback. So either way, Nick Foles is going to be in another uniform, and the Eagles are moving forward with Wentz for 2019. Meanwhile, there was another injury yesterday, one that was much more, another injury situation yesterday, much more under the radar. Alshon Jeffrey, you guys were talking about, obviously had the miss and then stood up at his locker, took responsibility. He was actually playing with cracked ribs, something that an MRI revealed earlier in the week. Not a lot of people knew about it. He kind of gritted his teeth and gutted it out, but he was injured during most of that game.
Yeah, I can respect that. I've played with cracked ribs before. Now, you mentioned injuries and teams believing in their players. What about the Patriots and how much they might believe in Rob Gronkowski? How possible is it that this is his final season as a Patriot?
No, it is very possible, and I've talked to several people close to Gronk who do believe that whenever the season ends, and obviously it was not going to be yesterday with the way the Patriots played against the Chargers, they believe Gronk will sit down and strongly consider retirement. He did the same thing last year and actually threatened to retire rather than be traded to the Detroit Lions. But those people who know him very well believe that when he contemplates this, he will likely go the other way. In other words, there's a good chance that we've seen the last of Rob Gronkowski whenever this year ends. And, of course, he's been through so much physically. My understanding is this year has taken an emotional toll on him, guys. He's been through a lot, and clearly maybe not the same player he's been. So this could be Gronk's last hurrah here.
Some monster blocks from him, letting Sony Michel do his thing out there as a rookie. Ian Rappaport, we appreciate you. This was your worry all along, of course, Kyle, that it might be his last year.
I hate it. I feel like Gronk is down in the dupes, and he doesn't like feeling that way, and his body's been banged up. Maybe this weekend will determine it, though, you know, when I go out on top. I'm worried about it.
Saturday night, the Rams rushed right over the